Good morning, everyone. Christian Duque, MD Noble Weekly, episode 11, brought to you courtesy of IronMagLabs.com and Andro Hard, made by Muscle Gels, topical muscle enhancement gels, available at MuscleGels.com. Today is Wednesday, August 30th. We have a very big show. Let's jump right into the action. First and foremost, Jason Genova has been dropped by Blackstone Labs. Apparently, the outrageous comments, the offensive antisocial behavior reached a boiling point. CEO and President PJ Braun had had enough and got rid of Genova. That means no more money, no more supplements, no more athlete development, no more promotion, and no more trip to the Mr. Olympia. Jason really, he made his bed, now he has to sleep in it, but the reality of the matter is we would all be naive to think that this is the end of Genova. In fact, there may be any number of small upstart companies eyeing Genova as we speak, looking to sign him, because a lot of companies, especially the little ones, don't have a problem putting principals in the back seat if profits are in the front. Next, I want to talk about Dallas McCarver. Last week was very, very tough. We lost a great bodybuilder. We lost a great person. There was a lot of fallout because of the Dallas McCarver Foundation that was allegedly started by Aaron Singerman and Dallas's girlfriend of a few months. Nick Trigili got onto Facebook, really lambasted Aaron, said that there was already a foundation. It was started by Dallas's mom through the St. Jude's Foundation. He wasn't aware why Aaron's partner Eduardo, or his chief of staff, I should say, and the girlfriend were involved in this foundation and not Dallas's parents or Dallas's family. He took some issues with that. He took some issues with the fact that $150,000 was being asked for. He also took an issue with the fact that there were T-shirts. The T-shirts had a discount code. He didn't understand that. Aaron made an explanation video that I didn't think was actually the best thing that he could have done. But, because he had all his Redcon supplements on the desk there, which is kind of strange. But in any event, he said that with the T-shirts, he said, quote unquote, they were something to remember him by. Quite frankly, we're going to remember Dallas because of his accomplishments on the stage, his interactions with the fans, what he brought to the sport of bodybuilding. I don't think anybody needs a T-shirt to remember him. But at the same time, I feel that Aaron probably had his heart in the right place and was trying to do right by Dallas. It was just a little, it was really too soon. And honestly, $150,000, just a lot of people, raised eyebrows about that. Unfortunately, folks over at RxMuscle.com attacked Steve Blackman and Sean Ray. I actually was contacted by Steve, who was just completely beside himself. He couldn't believe that they were attacking him, especially because we had the Dallas McCarver special show last Tuesday, which wasn't an MD Noble Weekly. It had me in it, but it was just a special video. And last Friday for MD Noble Weekly episode 10, we also honored Dallas once again, and also, of course, honored the memory of Rich Piana. And, so this week we have a Dallas McCarver tribute week at Muscular Development. So, again, Steve just didn't understand why he was being attacked. Sean Ray did have a thread that I was not a huge fan of, and I told Sean, we need to mourn at this time. I don't think Sean was inappropriate, and I certainly don't think that Sean did anything to disrespect Dallas's memory. The thing is that Sean is still not comfortable accepting, in my opinion, what happened in Australia, and I side with him on that very much so. I never bought the whole respiratory infection, bronchitis thing, and even when I urged Dallas and co. to show the prescriptions, and they showed them 24 hours later to social media, even Dave Palumbo mentioned my concerns on a live show with Dallas, I still wasn't convinced. You know what I mean? It was a very, very bizarre. But like I said on the special show last Tuesday, and like I reiterated on MD Noble Weekly episode 10, and I'm reiterating here on episode 11, I will not engage in conspiracy theories, and I certainly will not throw any prep coaches under the bus or anything to that nature, because to me, what's most important is remembering Dallas and honoring his memory. However, what happens with the foundation and what happens afterwards is fair game in my book, and something that I would be remiss if I didn't cover on MD Noble Weekly. Now, I'd like to move over to vultures, and vultures, scavengers, those birds that fly over in a circle. That is what we are seeing now, unfortunately, with the passing of our great, great friend Rich Piana. There are no shortage of companies. In fact, one emailed me and offered me to participate in a T-shirt sale program and they would cut me in for the profits. And I can't tell you what I said here because I don't like to curse on my show, but there are at least 6 different designs from 6 different companies right now selling Rich Piana t-shirts. Please, folks, do not buy these t-shirts. I don't care if you like the designs or like what they say. Please don't buy them. They have nothing to do with Rich Piana, nothing to do with Chanel, nothing to do with Team 5%. They're vultures. They're scumbags. I'll say scumbags that are basically coming to profit off of our misery, especially Rich Piana's family, Chanel and her family, the 5%ers and their family's misery. These people are scum of the earth. None of that money will ever go to Chanel or Rich Piana's family or the 5%ers or anything related therein. This is just the lowest of the low. So just please do not. Next, I'd like to talk about the Conor McGregor Floyd Mayweather Jr. fight. Mayweather is now 50-0. And I got to say, it was a good fight. It was a good fight. I mean, in 10 rounds, I thought, there were people that thought it would be like a Tyson Spinks fight where, you go to the bathroom, come back, it was over. Pay-per-view was like $149, which is just outrageous. And the pay-per-view actually is what contributed most to the revenues of the fight, which are said to be over $500 million. The purse alone is reported to be around $390 million. It is said that Floyd is going to make somewhere around $200 million, McGregor somewhere around $100. These are estimates, of course, ESPN, Bleacher Report, and others. It was a very, very good fight. I do not like Floyd Mayweather Jr. that much. I was a huge Canelo Alvarez fan in the past. That was a close one there, a split decision, but Floyd won that one too. And he really is the best pound for pound fighter in the world. I mean, basketball, I didn't like Michael Jordan very much. I was a Larry Bird guy, but Michael Jordan was the best, and so you had to recognize that. You know what I mean? He couldn't shoot a wicked 3 like Larry Bird, but he was the number 1 basketball player, and Floyd Mayweather Jr. is the number 1 boxer. I mean, this is abundantly clear by now. McGregor did have a good fight though, and honestly could have won if you went by the first 2 rounds. And even that 10th round, if it would have been allowed to continue, even though it was a TKO, it might have been interesting. The problem is that Floyd won all the other rounds, so you know what I mean. In fact, I don't know if McGregor actually won a round. See, boxing, you got to remember each jab, each punch, everything's point based, and you've got 3 judges usually. So I don't even know if he won rounds. I should probably look into that. I just, from looking at it, he looked pretty decent the first couple of rounds. Floyd sort of changed his style a little bit midway through the fight, and I don't think McGregor was really ready for that. It was a good fight. It was a good fight. There are people that are saying McGregor wants a rematch. You get one crack at the apple. I mean, this is boxing, and so I don't think that Floyd is going to give him a rematch, especially because it was a TKO. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. Next, I'd like to talk about Lou Ferrigno. Lou Ferrigno has been appointed to President Trump's Exercise Council. The Daily Mail says that he is pumped for Trump. I'll tell you another one that's pumped for Trump is Sheriff Joe Arpaio, the 85-year-old there, who had a court contempt charge and was looking to go to the pokey, eating one of those 50-cent bologna sandwiches that he likes to give his inmates in the tent prisons. But he won't be going to jail because President Trump pardoned him. And, we shouldn't talk about politics because it's one of those things. You don't talk about politics or religion, so I don't want to talk about politics, But and I certainly don't want to say that, I'm a Democrat that, was a Bernie Sanders delegate but didn't vote for Hillary because, she belongs in prison and I voted for Jill Stein. So I'm not going to talk about politics. All right, let's go ahead and move on now to Silvio Samuel, El Matador. Now, Silvio is someone that will probably not be getting MD coverage anytime soon. Got to use the hands, guys. I didn't use the hands. Sorry. Sean Ray has said that he will not cover Silvio and has said why, the charges and this and that. And a lot of people on the boards do not want to see Silvio. But Dave Borlée from Digital Muscle Media, Dan Solomon's page, The Hub, they went ahead and did a training video with Silvio Samuel at Gold's Gym, the Mecca, Venice Beach. And you see Silvio, you see Charles Glass, the Black Prince, Robbie Robinson, makes a small cameo appearance to assess Silvio's physique. Silvio looks the same, guys. It's kind of frightening, actually. Now, during the video, and I made a video for StrengthAddicts.com, and Dave Brule liked it and reposted it, so I guess it's pretty good, right? But in my video assessment, as well as this video assessment, I will say that, Silvio says that, he was exonerated, and that, it turns out he didn't do it, and talks a lot about God, and says that people that really knew him or know him know he never would have done anything like that. I personally, like I said on my video, I'll say here, I hope that, whatever he's saying is accurate, because in this day and age, anything can be refuted if it's not. And, certainly you don't have to be a lawyer or an officer of the court to look at, pleadings or excuse me, I should say at convictions or reversals or anything like that, because that's all in the public record. So, if I was Silvio, I wouldn't really talk so much about that, and I wouldn't talk so much about, I wouldn't talk about that. I would talk about, potentially coming back. I'm pretty sure that his pro card is still in good standing, I think. I don't know. He looks the same. Now we have to see. Now, it's one thing to look the same training. It's another thing to, can he still dial it in? But if he can dial it in, and if he can come as the Silvio of old, he would be extremely, extremely dangerous. I mean, this is a guy who was winning a lot of shows. He was, said to be one of the greatest giant killers of his day. There were people comparing him to Danny Padilla, to Lee Priest. A couple people, not a lot, but maybe like one or two, compared him even to like, Sean Ray with certain aspects. I mean, Sean Ray's a Hall of Fame bodybuilder, so that's a little bit of a stretch. But he was definitely on fire there for a pretty good run. And the one thing about Silvio that I will say, and that I do respect a lot, and you don't see a lot from guys today, is he competed in a lot of back-to-back shows, so he was able to peak several times, as opposed to some of the guys at the top tier right now, which regrettably only peak once at the Mr. Olympia. Other than that, you never see him anywhere, not even at the Arnold Classic. I mean, that's a pretty sad state of affairs, but that's just the reality that we live in. The Ramblin Freak, Greg Valentino, has released episode 2. Those of you that want to see his legs or want to see him posing, dropping his shorts or his pants or whatever, and we know we got a lot of fans out there that want to see Greg posing. In fact, there might even be some folks on the boards that want him to guest pose at their home, but I don't know, guys. I don't know. But Greg is God with a lowercase g. We don't want to offend the actual father up there. Again, we don't want to talk religion. Okay, don't want to talk religion, because that's not, it's not good to talk religion, and it's not good to talk about politics. So you are not going to hear this Catholic talk about religion on this show, non-practicing. So basically, that was a good show. And then, of course, we got the North Americans this weekend in Pittsburgh. We got, actually, today is, well, I do this on a Tuesday. Tomorrow's Wednesday, so you'll actually have the IFBB Masters Pro over there, Pittsburgh Masters Pro, great show. And then there's North Americans, and it's a 4-day event. It's going to be completely crazy. I was supposed to go, and, I love Gary. I mean, Gary Udit is like, also God with a lowercase g. But unfortunately, I have other commitments, and I can't. But North Americans, over 1,200 athletes, the best of Canada, the United States, Mexico, all coming to Pittsburgh. It's going to be crazy. You know what I'm saying? Well, in any event, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to tune in next Wednesday at Muscular Development for MD Noble Weekly, brought to you courtesy of Iron Mag Labs.